Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for me. Feeling good.
The person that you just heard singing will be turning 83 this month, February 19th. She has been singing and acting for over 60 years. In fact, that album came out in the late 60s with Prestige Records. I don't know if that was her first or her second album. Her name's Pat Bowie, and she happens to be my mom. Pat Bowie has been acting and singing my whole entire life. And she's still doing it. She's still working at 83 years old. This will be her second season in the TV show, the HBO TV show, And Just Like That, the reboot of Sex and the City. And I am so proud of her. I am so proud of her growth and her strength. My father would always say, remember what Swami Satchidananda says? And I'd say, no, I don't remember what he said. And he'd say, if you dig lots of holes, you'll never hit water. But if you keep digging in that same hole, you will eventually hit water. That's what your mother does. She's kept digging. She's kept digging. I'm getting a little emotional. Anyway, this is a conversation between myself, my mother, and my daughter, my oldest daughter. I hope you learn something or take something from this conversation, and mainly know that age lust is about redefining aging, knowing that it doesn't stop. We keep going, we keep growing. And my mother, Pat Bowie, is a perfect example of that. This episode is a very special episode. I'm going to be talking to my mother, as I like to call her, the famous Pat Bowie, and my daughter, who happens to be her granddaughter, Georgia.
Hi.
What
Georgia, it's kind of crazy how that works.
That is. We are all genetically linked.
I was in your womb, Grammy.
Yes.
My mom was in your womb. Yeah. And if I ever have children, they were in your womb.
Oh dear. Okay.
How does that? Can you say
Explain.
more?
Spiritually, eggfully.
Eggfully, spiritually, and eggfully. Okay.
Eggfully. I don't know.
So I want to just say that I call my mother the famous Pat Bowie because you've been acting and in the entertainment business for how long, Mom?
Well, let's see. Oh my God. What about?
Maybe longer than that,
Maybe
right?
longer than
How
that.
old were you when you started?
Well, actually, the truth of it is that when I was 10 years old, I don't know how conscious we are before certain ages, but I sort of woke up or became conscious that I was on the stage and there were a bunch of people staring at me. So, and I was singing something. I don't know, but that's what, 70 years? 72 years?
Oh, so you're coming out with your age?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, you're gonna have a birthday.
Yes.
Oh, also she's the famous Pat Bowie because she was in Vogue last year. Was it last year or 2021 that you were in Vogue?
God.
Because she is the runaway star of
Oh God.
the Sex and the City reboot.
New York or nothing or something.
No,
Oh.
that's not what it's called.
What's it called?
That's a store. Oh my God.
It's called And Just Like That.
And Just Like That. And what's your character's name, Mom?
Oh, dear.
Isn't it Esther?
No, it's not Esther. Oh, good Lord. Now you've out.
Okay, well, it'll come. It'll
Yeah.
come. All right. So we're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about your career. And I really want to talk about your career a little bit, Mom, because I think when we think about like the Angela Bassett's of the world and Taraji P. Henson, who I love, like I love that character Cookie
I
from
do
Empire.
too. Yeah.
You know, there's all of these black actors now there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't have people before them. I remember growing up as a kid, anytime I would see somebody black on TV, I had met them almost.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Even
Yeah.
like Good Times, Esther Rolls.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Right.
Like there's almost all the black actors. I mean, how many black, can we say the Scottish play name? In
Oh,
the
yeah,
house? Yeah.
why not?
How many black professional actresses who were black played Lady Macbeth?
Yeah, not that many, but I do believe that there was one at the University of Chicago, and I don't know her name, I think, but then I also played Private Lives.
Right.
So,
but that was written for Josephine Baker.
Well, it was written, but it wasn't written for her. What was written for her was the song by Cole Porter called "Dinner for One, Please, James." So, but what happened was that Noel Coward said that he wanted Josephine Baker to play the character, but during that time it was against the law for black and white people to be on stage together, because we got to remember these are the late 20s or early 30s, because Bricktop was the one that, well, she didn't tell us that. The director that came from England to direct Private Lives, Nicholas Kent, he was the one that told us, because during one of the after one of the performances, when we were talking to the audience, this woman was saying, well, Noel Coward wouldn't have wanted a black woman to play that. And he said, you're absolutely wrong. He did. He wanted Josephine Baker to play, and it wasn't allowed. So it never happened,
Do you want to know something funny? That when you did that Private Lives play, he was light skinned too. What was the guy that he was light, bright, damn near white, like as light as me.
He was white.
Oh, he was white? He just had kinky hair?
Yeah.
This is kind of like my Tina Marie
actually,
situation, where I was very confused by Tina Marie. I thought for sure she was black, and she was just as light as me, only to find out that Tina Marie was not black.
Well, I think Pete Davidson's black.
Pete Davidson is black. His mother, I think
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
He's the one who dated Ariana. He was dating Kim
Kardashian.
Kardashian. Yeah.
But I think I Googled it. I Googled all these things.
I Googled it and they said he wasn't black, but I don't.
No. I think one of his parents is half black.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Because he looks.
Right. Well, yeah. But anyway, when you did that play, that was the only time ever that I forgot you were my mother for a minute.
Okay.
I think because you usually play very maternal people.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And so that was the first time that you were not. That, and there was a play that you did with Steve.
What was it?
Jackie was there, and this was in Chicago. It was it was something that Jackie was there, and Steve was there, and you had to unbutton your shirt.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Okay.
I don't want to see this play. It's horrible.
Well, that was, I don't know if that was Steve's play or not.
Not Steve, what's his name? The actor Steve. The one that was like he's Mr. Actor, Mr. I'm So Handsome.
Well, anyway, here's the thing. When I agreed to do it, I said, I'm not taking off my shirt and I'm not taking off my bra. I will unbutton my shirt. And at that point...
That was enough for me.
Well, actually, and that was enough. It was enough for the audience. I didn't have to do this. I thought, I'm not stripping down. I'm not doing that.
Which leads us to hair, because the original hair,
I know.
the original 60 something Broadway version of Hair, you were supposed to be in that.
But I couldn't bring myself to
Take off their clothes.
No, you know what? I didn't realize that I didn't have to take off my clothes. Later on, I found out that not everybody took off their clothes, and that it was up to the actor. But I didn't know that at the time, and I thought, oh my God, and it's also like when someone was asking me to test for Playboy. I thought, I can't do this because I just had vision. If I had
You were going to
children.
be in Playboy?
Well,
You were going to be a bunny?
No,
She has there was a picture of her as a bunny.
When I was singing, I worked at the Playboy Club. Not only the one in Chicago, but all throughout the country, including in Jamaica. They had singing. I was singing at the time. And the picture of the bunny was because they said, come on, just get in a bunny, be in a bunny suit for once so we can take. And I just did it for one. Not that I walked around with drinks and stuff. I still don't know how to do that. But so I just did it. I don't even know if it was at the Playboy Club here in Chicago. Not here, we're in New York. But
Fair. Yes, she was going to be the they didn't have a black model yet in Playboy. She was going to be the first one, which I got to say, Mom, that would have been extra cool.
Well,
if you could just be forward thinking about it, because I would have been like, there's your grandmother.
Oh, God.
I would get
The
a
whole
big printout.
spread.
I feel like it would be cool to see you in Playboy. I didn't like it when you kissed that guy on stage. I didn't enjoy that at all.
What?
Which play was
in
that?
Florida, when we went.
The old guy?
Yes. I did not. You kissed him, and I didn't like it. On stage, it was in Florida when we visited her during February.
When we went to West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach.
What was it?
Was it like same
at
time?
the Playhouse or something. It was like you were like an old.
It was
I know.
The Jane Fonda, the Fondas.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking
I
about.
didn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy seeing you.
It wasn't.
It was truly.
It wasn't a passion. It was
horrible. I almost died. I felt my heart drop.
Oh my God. Well, anyway.
Most recently, in this new film, you don't kiss Billy D. Williams, do you?
Oh.
Graham.
Well, it's known. They're showing it already.
Are they showing?
I don't know if they're showing the show, but it's not.
Jessica, you're not supposed to.
Surprise! We're gonna get.
It's supposed to be a surprise, yes, for people that haven't
But
seen
they
it.
were showing Billy Corbin on with, or whoever, like that, the guy that she used to date on The Thing is back. And
yeah. Well,
did you sign an NDA?
Not for that script, no.
No, okay then.
So, but here's the thing. No, I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? You haven't seen
No,
that
no,
episode.
it's not out yet. But I'm asking you something else. Did you have to kiss any?
No.
Because how would you feel about that, Georgia? Seeing your Graham make out on television with some elderly gentleman.
I'm not a prude. It's just when I see my family members do such sinful thing.
I don't even, they were making a joke, not with him, but with one of the other actors, which was very funny. But, they had enough making out with, I think, everybody except Sarah. And I don't even know if she was excluded from it. We're making out just every. Have you seen that episode?
No, Mom, it's not out yet.
Oh.
You just said that it's not out yet.
Oh my God.
So would you be opposed to making out on screen?
Oh, please.
I tried to get you to do an only. I tried to get her to do an OnlyFans.
Grandmother's not doing OnlyFans.
I thought all she has to do is set up the the computer, right? Turn it on and just go about her business.
No,
oh my God,
getting dressed.
No. She's gonna get doxxed. Somebody's gonna come to this house and kidnap her.
No, oh, good Lord! Is that what they do?
just because they're just so infatuated and in love.
Yeah, you showed the outside of your window. They'll pinpoint your stuff.
Okay, well, we're not doing that.
No, we're not. At this point in my life, I don't think I'm, that brave, but it would certainly have to depend on.
So it's not out of the question.
Nothing's out of the question.
Okay, you've heard it straight from
Within-
the actor's mouth, HBO. She is down for whatever.
No,
You also have to add emotional damages to the bill. We have to, per kiss,
For who? Not for her, for you?
for me.
And
And who knew I was going to have a daughter that so open-minded that would say, well, you could have, why didn't you do that thing for Playboy?
That would have been cool.
see that?
But I didn't feel,
But
all I
Playboy
had
was-
visions of, I thought, if I have a child, and my child, there I am in my altogether, and this, I don't know how.
That's why we should just not even care about what our child. They'll do their own thing. There you go, Georgia. You're on your own. You do your own thing. I'm going to live my life. You're going to live your life. MoveOn.org. Somebody did ask a question, Mom, about sex and seniors. So, George, are you okay?
No.
Because I remember one time I was trying to do work of some type, and then you called me and I answered in the middle. You called because you were trying to convince one of your friends, I will not name them,
Oh, yes.
to get a new vibrator.
Yes.
So, and I was like, Mom, I'm trying to do something. I can't get into so-and-so's vibrator needs. However,
Well, listen,
wait,
George. Yeah.
wait, okay, well, go ahead. You say what you're going to say.
Well, listen,
and then
George,
I've got a
first
question.
of all, you have to understand, because this particular friend was having physical problems with, she had to have a mesh or something to
Right.
hold everything up. And one of the things we know that the muscles in the vagina or
That's right. The vagina is
vagina.
fine. The pelvic floor muscles.
and it helps it. It's like any muscle in the body.
She's doing bouncy bouncy movements with her hands.
But
Just-
it's like any
audio.
muscle. If you don't use it, then it tends to what? What do you call that? Just
Atrophy.
thank you, darling.
Her vagina atrophy.
Yes.
Well, that's
it is true.
menopause.
That's true because you've lost all the juices and whatever to keep everything together. So my suggestion was, look, if the doctor can't help you, if they can't push everything back up, why don't you try this? Yeah, because they have exercises like Kegel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is
the interesting thing about Kegels is that it's really they're very inappropriate for a lot of people, because a lot of women hold their tension in their pelvis. So when you go to the gynecologist and they say squeeze, you're already making a muscle 24/7 and you can't squeeze anymore. And they say
kidding,
do
really?
do Kegels. But in actuality, what we need to do is relax the pelvic floor.
I don't know if that would have helped her. I mean,
Well, she's already once you get mesh, you're already down the road.
okay.
You interventions have
But-
to change. But I'm just talking about like the average.
person, yeah. I think
Joe
that I
Atta.
don't think she would. They have them everywhere. Go to Target. Go to Target because you can get one at Target. And
Georgia is just sitting here looking.
being horrified. because-
It's just weird to hear you guys talk about it. But, like, I remember when you offered to buy me a vibrator, Mom, and that was out of pocket.
Well,
Was completely out of pocket. And I
and-
remember that distinctly. I remember how it happened, what you said, and what I was wearing.
and you can just look and see what's in your suitcase when you get home to college.
For real?
Oh my God. Well, anyway. Well, listen. All I can say is I am much better than your grandmother, your great grandmother, and her grandmother, because she would have been horrified at all of
It's better
that.
to have the conversations and be uncomfortable than not have them and be clueless. And then you're like, why is my pelvis out is sticking out of my body, and then you're like, oh well,
Okay, so let
that's
me.
a prolapse.
So 2 questions, right? The first question is, you go to lunch with your ladies.
Yeah.
They're all of a certain maturity age.
Yes.
Is there a lot of talk around sex toys around
No.
the lunch table?
No.
No. Nobody's talking about it at all.
No. Yeah. Round. Do you know what they were talking about on the news today? They said that the men that are not working and don't care to work, or it seems, that will sit around for 6 hours at home playing video games, is like up to 86%. That they're looking for people to work. They're looking for people to work. And these guys, it's like, and someone said, well, how do they manage? Well, because they have a partner usually. And it has nothing to do with color. It's the attitude of some of them. They don't want to do certain kind of work anymore. They want, So, I mean, they were showing a guy that had a TV program that he called Dirty Work. And I mean, some of it you just think, I don't care. I'd have to starve. I'd be on the street or something before I could get into that, But that's what he did. I mean, just some of the, you just looking at it made you sick. But they were saying that, and here people are talking about bringing, that kind of work back to America. Who's going to do it? Unless these people that are coming into the country, these 40,000 people are willing to do it, because this one factory that they showed up where she does like computer things, she said, they said, well, how many employees do you have? She said 30. He said, well, how many would you, she said, if I could get 15 more, I could do a much more business. And she does, they do the little electrical thing. And he said, but, he didn't understand it. Why aren't there? But it's because of the attitude that some people, that a lot of the men have. They don't want to do it anymore. They don't feel appreciated, whatever it is.
I think a lot of it's also they're like talking more about is a lot of these jobs. Like, I'm not saying what you're saying is untrue, but I'm saying a lot of them are paying so little. And so it's people are like, I'm not putting myself in danger, or I'm not doing this for so little money. Because, like, I think it's like it's kind of like you didn't respect them when they were working. You didn't respect people. I'm not just talking about men. I'm talking about people in general. You don't respect people when they're working in your factories. Well, you're going to respect them when they refuse to work in your factories because you're mistreating them and underpaying them, and you're ignoring their needs as people.
Right. But that's why they go to other countries, poorer countries, that are willing to work for little or no money. But, so anyway, the point is that, it was on Gayle King that her show, and she said, and that is very unattractive. He doesn't have a job. She said, that is very unattractive. And I must say, I agree with her.
I think I agree too.
Your friend is not looking for a 40-year-old, are they?
Yes, no.
So most likely your friend, the person that would be in your age grouping, they're looking to stop working anyway.
Oh, this 20 years are juniors.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, it's not just working. I mean, it's having somebody that you enjoy, you respect, unless you're just using them for,
Their bodies.
their bodies.
Their 80-year-old hot bod.
But that's valid. I think you can do that.
But
I'll match with someone and they'll send like a shitty pickup line and I'll say something absolutely batshit back. And you see I'm like real like
can you meet anybody?
I don't do it to meet people. I do it to like just it's like for shit's sake. Like I'll sit down with my friend Kenzie or something, or like we'll just sit down and we're like, okay, let's play. Let's just go through.
Okay. Well, I think it's just difficult to, you go, oh God, and
then you have shows like MILF Manor, and I think it's
God.
very
Wait,
despicable.
have you heard about that, Mom?
No, I haven't.
MILF? Do you know what MILF stands for?
Mom, I'd like to fuck.
So-
There's GILF, too.
GILF. There's MILF, GILF, DILF.
What's guilt?
GILF would be grandmother.
Grandmother, grandfather.
And DILF is dad. Anyway, this MILF Manor, go ahead. It's really
so
actually...
you get it's kind of like federal, but So you get presented with these older women, you know, they're all moms, you know, they're all looking for younger guys to date. They're all on the show. They don't know who they're going to meet. The door's open and it's their sons. Not only, so these mothers have to watch their young sons, 20 years old, date the other women that they're friends with. They have to listen to their other women talk about dating their sons and like sexually talking about their sons' bodies. Those sons then have to listen to those other young men talk about having sex with their mothers and talk sexually about their mothers' bodies. And it's kind of like,
It's gross.
it's gross, but I think it's also just like kind of driving a joke that like older love is not real.
All right. Well, we answered the question.
What was the question?
The question was, are older people sitting around talking about sex toys?
Oh, no. Well, I am sure that there are women that are more open and all of that.
You probably need to go downtown. You need to go hang out with the downtown,
Probably.
the village. Them.
Well, I think that that's really, when you think about it, when I think about it, that's more important than anything. I mean, the sex, but having somebody that you enjoy being with, you can be friends with, I mean, because the truth of it is, in life, no matter how old you are or how young you are, that who you end up and decide to be with, you want to like them. You want to like them, and you want to feel like that's a friend of yours, that you can, and I've said that about your dad, no matter what kind of problem.
I knew he was going to come up.
Well, but the truth of it is that, most of the time that I was with your dad, I felt like I was protected.
Yes.
And that was so important to me. I mean, not only was I protected, but I was taken care of.
But I think he also, like, you two, like, had a very strange relationship. It's very long. I think it lasted much longer than the split up.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's someone about that you can be.
But even when, hold on one second though, because when you were 70 something years old,
Yeah.
right? He was in the apartment. It was like Christmas or something like that. He came into the apartment. He said, "Jess, your mom looks good. She looks good for 72. She looks great." And he used to always describe you as, what was the wedding like? "Oh, your mother was so zaftig." Look that word up, zaftig. Have you ever heard that word, Georgia?
No.
That is how your grandfather described your grandmother, as zaftig. Zaftig.
Yeah. But the truth of it is.
But he was your love.
Yeah, he was my love. And and this is, if you're not mature, you end up screwing up because you're not mature to think things through, to say what is important and what isn't important. Being able to, be with somebody and even if you didn't have sex, if they were a companion, because it comes a point.
I know.
Where, especially with men, that is, that it's not about sex, it's about being able to trust the person that you're with and know that no matter what you go through, I mean, that person is there. And that was, until the end. I mean, even at the end, your dad and I were friends. And, when your dad, when he became where I think he knew that he was going to die, not the moment, but when he asked me, did I resent him or did I, and I had to say, and I said no. And the reason I said no, because I knew I wasn't perfect. Because I knew I brought a lot of baggage when I met your dad. A lot of baggage. And he had his own,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yet I trusted him more than that person I married afterwards.
Well, listen, this is the deal. You both are on the same page to say, like he used to say, if therapy back then, what it is today, your mother and I would still be together.
Yeah.
And now you're saying, very sad. And also very great to know that, like, you two could have, like, been So in my mind, I'm just going to say that you stayed married your whole lives.
Well, we just about did, because we had been separated when he decided that he was going to marry the crazy lady.
Yeah.
When he was going to marry her, and we got divorced. We had been separated for 14 years, and then only. But
that didn't work out so well either.
No, that didn't. No, that did. And your dad, I think one of the reasons was because he knew that we married not because of money and position, but because we loved each other, right?
Yeah.
And he also knew that because of his position and the money that he had, he could not be sure, especially when somebody's 23.
Yeah, she was 23.
She was 23, yes, when she met your grandfather, your great-grand.
I only hear about you two together. I never hear about these. Or I briefly hear about the others.
Because what's the point?
I know.
But yeah, she was 23.
She was around for 14 years.
And that's when we got...
such trauma.
We got a divorce. And then he didn't do it.
Because she wanted a baby. And he was like, I have one child. That would be me. I have one child, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Again. Let's talk a little bit about puberty, Mom.
Oh,
what did your grandmother tell you about?
I didn't have a grandmother.
I mean, sorry, your mother.
Nothing. By the time my mother decided to talk
around.
to me, I said, never mind, because she was. I said, "Don't. It's okay, Mom. My friends already told me." Your friends told? Yes. Don't. Oh, she was so relieved.
But do you remember when she went through menopause?
Oh. Oh golly. Not really. Because your grandmother was so unhappy most of the time, so disappointed with life that
she just was always miserable.
Well, and you cannot blame her in a way. I mean, here she is, no family, right? Because her mother was dead when she was 5. Her father married a woman that didn't want her because she's got 2 of her children of her own, 2 or 3. So she marries my dad, and he dies. I mean, they couldn't have been together much longer than maybe 4 or 5 years. So she's in a city and then with, my uncles, people accusing my mother of my looking like somebody else's child and all that craziness. It's a lot of that stuff. And, so she had to work, and she didn't feel comfortable going to her church anymore, because that used to be a big social thing for Black people to go to church and all of that. So she was alone. Mm. And she wasn't like a lot of the other women. I mean, she was brought up very kind of strict in a way, and she didn't hang out. She didn't drink. She tried to drink, and she soon discovered that was not for her. And so she was. Oh God! I brought a man home for her one time. I didn't bring him home for that, but I thought I was a bus driver. And I thought, oh, he seems very nice. I cannot imagine. And I guess I said, would you like to meet my mother?
How old were you?
I must have been young. 12, 13, something like that. And sure enough, he showed up at the time. Needless to say, my mother was a big shocked. And he was white.
You didn't tell me that.
I know. And I thought, well, we've tried the other way, and maybe this will work out better. And they did go out for a a bit of time.
Well, so it did work out.
It did, yeah. And but I did.
I didn't know he was white.
He was white, and and I thought, well, he's good looking. He's okay. And
What was what do you remember his name?
no, not a clue. I haven't got a clue of his name. Not a clue.
Oh, God.
But I did. I was trying to help.
You were helpful. That was very helpful, Mom.
She was there and so lonely and nobody, So I did what I could.
Wow. How about that, Georgia?
I don't know. I mean, make some of the stuff I feel like I've done, not that extreme. Brought home you a man.
When did you bring
I know I haven't.
It's like, what? Where was I? Must have been at work.
Yeah, but I could tell my mom was lonely, and oh boy. And Evanston was, we used to we had a name for it, Sedity.
Sedity?
Sedity, yeah. Sedity meant that they were,
Yeah, very, like, posh.
Yeah, posh, and thought that they were better than everybody else and that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
And I had school, thank God. And
Did you act in school?
no, I didn't. I never did.
How did you get your first acting job?
Do you remember Ruth? Do you remember Ruth? She took pictures at wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, so
She
Ruth
moved
went
to the kibbutz.
Yeah, Ruth was going to Northwestern, and she was doing a film. She was doing film. And she asked me, I don't know how I met Ruth, to tell you the truth, but it must have been something like, I don't know. So she asked me, she said, would I be in one of her short films, student film? And I thought, why not? What the hell? I'm not doing anything. This is golly, in the 70s, I guess. There was, yeah. And so I did something. Although she wanted me to be sexy with this guy or something, I thought, oh, God. Okay. Another one. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you the rest of it. No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. But anyway, she did ask, she said, why did you do such and such a thing? And I said, I don't know, I just did it. And she said, you're going to go to acting school. That's the truth. And she took me to this little theater, this little school that changed its name so many times I couldn't keep up with it. And I thought, well, what the hell? And so I started taking classes there. And they decided to do, it was a famous thing, Welcome the Avenue.
Oh, cabaret.
Cabaret, right. And so I had been there about a year, and so I saw that they were going to do cabaret, and I opened it up because I didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, what are the songs? And so there was one song for this old woman, Fräulein Schneider. And I said, this is the song I want to do. So Fräulein Schneider was about 65, white and German. So I thought,
seems perfect.
Absolutely. So I got a wig, and I went in and did the audition. And he said, well, first of all, he had never seen me before in his life. He said, well, don't you want to be Sally Bowles? I said, no, I don't want to be Sally Bowles. I know I can do that. I want to do this old lady. He said, whoa, okay. So he had I would make a joke with people. I said, I auditioned for everybody, including the janitor, because he wanted to be sure. He wanted to give me the part, and he wanted everybody to know that, to hear that I was okay. So that's how I did it. So I played Fräulein Schneider. And it was fascinating in a way because people would come up to me, especially little Jewish ladies, and say, "Oh, my dear," because in the musical, she tells him she can't marry him because, of what's going on in the world. Jews are being killed and all of that stuff. And she was engaged to this guy that was a Jew. And she says, at the end, near the end, I can't do it. She said, I've been through wars and I've been through famine and all of that, and I just can't. And here, so if you think about it, a woman that when you get older, it's not about just love. It is about how do I survive, right? Because when you're young, everything can change, and you're young and you can change with it. You could change schools, you could change this, jobs, whatever, because you still have that vitality and stuff. But when you get into your 60s, everything starts to slow down, and life becomes life becomes different unless you are fortunate enough to have, especially if you have no money. And they would say to me, "Oh, you did the right thing, my dear." And I thought, here I am in this wig, this black young woman, and people are saying that to me. So an agent came in and said, "Would you like to work?" Now, I had only been in acting school a year. And I said, "Sure." And I did a voiceover for Heinz Ketchup playing a grandmother. Just the voice. And that was when I started.
But you had already had 2 albums before that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I did. Nicole keeps bringing my albums up to people and it's just so strange. I don't know. Well, anyway.
Why is it strange?
I don't know. It's just that, if you said...
Nicole Ari Parker of the what is it? As good, what is it called?
And just
like that.
Because if you think about it, life is like within a moment. Life can change.
Yeah.
And that's when she says, "And just like that."
Yeah.
Everything became different. So, I don't know. Yeah. And then I went on from there. But, the thing was that I worked so much because I was so afraid of not having enough money to live. And I learned at an early age that I had to hustle. I had to hustle. And so I regret that I didn't do for you what I want you to do for Esme and Georgia and Alil. But then I didn't have anybody really to babysit and all of that.
I remember when you were going through menopause, because I remember in Florida, you were having a conversation with my old boss, Jessica, who was going through it, and she would have these hot flashes. She would just pour sweat. It was bizarre. To me, I would sit there and kind of freaked out, thinking, what the hell is wrong with this woman? Yeah. She is, talking sheets of sweat. It was crazy. And then you had already started bioidentical hormones, and you were telling her about the cream. You said you just put the cream in the inside of your arm, and it brings back all the moisture, everything. It's all better. It's all better.
Yeah, it was much better, because it was. I thought I went through it for years, for years. And I thought, dear God, is this going to ever be over? So it took a long time for me before my body.
When did you stop having a period? Do you remember how old you were?
51.
I'm waiting.
51.
It still is creeping up on me every so often. But I don't remember you sweating buckets or anything.
Well, I did one time. I was at a wedding. It was Pat's wedding. This other, not Pat that passed, but the
North Carolina Pat.
Yeah, North Carolina Pat. I was at a wedding. I had on a silk dress, and my hair, for some reason, my hair had grown really long. So I put my hair up, which helped. But then my silk dress, and I thought, oh my God! And then somebody wanted to hug me, and I'm going, no, don't hug me. And, I thought, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. But everybody doesn't have that experience. And maybe that's You know why I don't remember Mom having going through menopause? She had a hysterectomy.
Oh.
That's why.
From fibroids?
I don't know.
You know, it's really interesting because people, when they have hysterectomies, especially when they're younger, and how old do you think she was when she had the hysterectomy?
She was in her 40s.
You are supposed to now go on hormones, period.
Really?
Yes. End of story. Especially the younger you are. You must go on the, not much, but yes, you're supposed to go on the hormones. Depending if she had cancer, but she didn't have cancer. Right. So if it's cancer, it's a different situation. But when you have them for fibroids, that sort of thing, endometriosis, but possibly, but let's just say fibroids, because this is a Black woman, right? You go on hormones. Now, whatever, she was probably just feeling emotionally horrible and depressed and miserable. And had she had some hormones, it probably would have helped.
Yeah, but who knew then?
Who knew then, right?
But one of the things that I wanted to ask Georgia about, what are you afraid of about turning 20?
Like, I've wasted the first 19.
Oh, good God. Oh, good God. What were you coming out at maybe 2 or 3 with a job? I mean, what the hell?
I get a feeling sometimes, like, you know, I just stay on my ass all day, and it's like, but I also, it's like, no matter what I do, I'll never be successful. And it's like, well, you should have won at least 2 awards by now. You know?
What does that mean?
Money.
So it's about money. It's not about what you want to do.
I don't know what I want to do. I just know.
Well, but this is the time when you explore, honey. Don't you understand? You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do either. But what I knew was, it's almost what you're saying. I thought, I'm going to be something. I'm not going to do this shit anymore. Looking at my mother and being miserable. I couldn't wait to, Marietta, my friend, that she's talking about, my best friend that I grew up with, she turned at 18. She bought a car and drove to California. She drove to California and did not look back. She said, I got to get the hell out of here. And I thought, you can't drive to California by yourself. She said, yes, I can. And she did. But, there is no, you got to give yourself, be gentle with yourself. Why would you tell your good friend to expect that she wasted 19 years of her life doing, you didn't waste it, babe. What else could you have done?
I just ask myself, like, I'll go through situations. Well, if you said this, this, and this, and then did this, would you be where you are today? Would you be like, I think it's also just like being able to look at myself and be like, wow, you did that. Like, be proud of myself. Like, it gets to a point sometimes where it's like, what are you adding to the world? Who's not proud of you,
though, Georgia?
Me?
You're the only one.
Yeah, you are really the only one.
You are the only one. And, one of the things I was watching when I remember when you did that recital with your, the
dance?
Yes.
So talented, right?
But she's so hard on herself that I knew one of the reasons it was so beautiful because she was on point at every turn, everything that she did. But I thought, God, if she ever made a mistake, it would just about do her in because she wants this perfection. Where your brother, on the other hand, he didn't seem like he could give less than a damn about whether it's perfect or not. This is what I'm going to do, and there you go. So you've got 2 different personalities, but you've got to be kind to yourself. You got to give yourself a chance to grow up. You're not grown at 20.
Yeah, your brain hasn't even
finished growing. So you got to be gentle with yourself, honey. Be gentle with yourself. I have to tell myself that, and surprise, surprise, when this last episode that we did, I didn't have the new script. So when I walked in there and they handed me, because sometimes they print it out all the time for when you come in, knowing that you may have left. And I said, this is not what this is not what I learned. They said, oh, you didn't get it? I said, well, no. And so they said, well, that's what we're shooting. So like I have done before, I thought, what the hell? What possibly could go wrong? So I just took it, memorized as best I could, did it, and the director said, he said, who the hell needs words? And that was his, when I would say it or I'd say it a different way or whatever, it was like his way of saying. And someone said to me, they said, what did she say? You're really real, or something like that. But I allowed myself to not be perfect, to not know it, and said, I'm gonna do the very best that I can. And that's how I got on working with Wilson, with doing those plays with Hallie. Because remember the woman that was playing my part that decided that she didn't want to be known as playing a maid or whatever.
Yeah.
She quit or whatever. And I had to go on stage within 2 days. And so what did I do? I said, well, how bad can it be? How bad can I be? I said, put the lines put them on the wall that when I go in, because I was going in and out, so I could catch it. And it worked. They said, okay, good, you got a job. And I worked with them for
Years.
Yeah.
You did all of those.
It's like, and one of the first jobs that I had at the Goodman Theater was a West Indian thing. And the poet that became
Mustafa.
Not Mustafa. This other one he taught at.
It wasn't Playmas?
Playmas. It was.
But I thought his name was Mustafa.
He was. Mustafa was. I had somebody in it. Mustafa wrote it, but this other guy, the poet, was a director, and so I was auditioning, and I don't think strike me funny, and so I went in there. I don't know what the hell. They asked me to do something, and I burst out laughing because I thought, I don't know what I'm doing, but here I am. And he cried. He said, he had a reason why I was laughing, and I thought that's good enough. Okay, I'll take it. But all I'm saying is, nobody is perfect. And you have to allow yourself to enjoy whatever it is you're doing, baby. And I thought, oh my God, this girl has no idea how good she is. You're dancing and I'm looking at you, and I thought, okay, the teacher's over there, okay. But
you were so good.
You were so spectacular.
All of the dances, you were so good. You were so good.
I can't even watch that video back because I can track the mistakes I made still.
Oh, Jesus. Who's got time for that?
Really, life
Do
is too
something
short.
else.
Life is too short, George.
There were always examples of older, for me growing up, of older women who were doing yoga. Because Becky was 100 years old when I was a kid.
Yeah,
when I was 5.
She started teaching yoga when she was 60, in her 60s, and just continued on. And when she came to your mom's wedding,
number 1.
Maybe she was there. I was there at the second one.
Yeah, number 1. She was 80.
She was older than she was like 86, 80,
something like that.
Yeah.
And people went, "What?"
Yeah,
because she did not look at.
She was wearing she had a mini sequin mini dress on.
Outfit for Little's graduation.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. She looked really, and she was walking around, and Gloria was talking to the spirits at the thing. That was a fun party.
It was a fun party. It really was a fun party.
Hell went downhill after that, but the party was great. I want to know, what is this is Georgia, I'm asking Georgia. So now you've got 2 grandmothers who are very active in their 80s. How do you think about aging? You've got me, who's 51.
Yeah, what do you think about it?
I mean, it's scary.
Why?
I mean, because I'm just scared to turn 20 in general. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
But it's scary because it's like, it's going to be a change, but like, I know it's not the end of the world. You know, like, I know, like, I see people, I see other people's like grandparents and like it's kind of, it's like, well, your grandmother's just like sitting all day, you know what I mean? And so it's like, my idea of aging, I know it's scary, but it's also exciting because like I want to be able to be like, like pull out a thing, like, well, when I was 20, I did this crazy ass stuff, and like, so it's exciting, and it's like, because like, by the time I'm 80, I'll have stuff figured out.
But when you see like
figure it out much sooner than that, honey.
when she's gonna figure out what
My stuff by 80.
by 80, I don't know.
Figure.
But you don't feel like you've figured everything out, do you?
Oh no. No.
You love that In My Grandmother's Hands.
Yeah, I did. I love that book.
Yeah.
Have you read? Did you read it? Did you?
I have it on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you love that book and that whole concept of like.
Well, it's talking about trauma and generational trauma. And wait a minute, somebody's in a movie, and she talks about being raped at 19 and thought she had processed it until she started doing this movie. And she said she'd come home every night and her husband and be a mess. That how much deeper it went than she was aware of. So
that's good news that you can be in your 80s and still figuring things out. I think that's good news.
Yeah.
That keeps you young, Mom.
yeah. I mean, when I was your age, I don't even remember being 20. I don't remember.
You were already working.
Well, because it became very clear to me at a very young age that nobody was going to save me but me. That whatever it is that I wanted, I had to get out there and find it for myself. When your father had an affair, right? Mm-hmm. And he had an affair because he was angry at me, right? And instead of my acting like an adult and saying, before the affair, I know why he did it, but instead of our dealing with it or my dealing with it, I went into doing what I did as a child, which I'd stopped talking. I just stopped talking, which it should have been the opposite. And sometimes people have an affair and the marriage becomes stronger. It doesn't become weaker, it becomes stronger because they begin to, understand each other in a deeper way. So that's why it's so important to, have that person as a friend because, look, Georgia she's going to be leaving home one day.
One day, we hope.
Very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. It's coming.
Okay.
Okay, but the thing is, the children are gone. Who are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
And that's what's important. I could talk to your dad. I mean, your dad was funny. Mm-hmm. I when we were in Spain one time, I don't know what the hell he said. We were on the elevator, but I thought, dear God, she's gonna make me pee on myself because he would say things so outrageous that I started laughing. I hope I can make it off this elevator. He could make me laugh like that and make me also, or he didn't make me, but I would get angry. But having somebody that you can feel comfortable with and just be yourself and, say, he would say outrageous things. So people, they would say something stupid to him about, oh yeah, I was in love with so-and-so once upon a time. He said, and what do you want me to do about it? And please, he didn't tell me that shit. We were at a ball, and this person with a lot of money or whatever came up to him and said, yes, I was once in love with a black woman. And he said, oh, and what? And the guy
he was very, very, very
outspoken,
especially when it came to issues on racial justice and also like with AIDS and stuff. And yeah, he was quite outspoken
and funny. He could be funny, but he can also make you so angry.
But you're funny too. I have to tell you, it's really been a privilege to have two extremely creative parents as my parents,
Yeah,
people
that's
as
true.
my parents. I really do respect that. I want to ask, let's talk about menopause.
Oh, just what Georgia wants to hear. This 18-year-old kid.
Georgia's having
19. 19?
I'm 19.
Oh,
I
my
turned 19 last month.
Are you having emotions? Are you okay, honey?
I just can't talk about grandpa.
Yeah.
You just what? What's
She misses her grandpa a lot.
Oh, yeah. Your grandpa lived a wonderful life in a lot of ways. It's not that bad things don't happen. It's that he was, now, it took him a while. It took him till he was 30-something, I think, before he found his footing about what he wanted to do with his life. And he had been, he had worked at Prestige, which I recorded on. He was going to open up a boot store, and that became a restaurant. I mean, he would just do things, and I knew that he was the kind of guy that I didn't know what he was going to do, but I knew he was going to do something, with his life. And sure enough, when he decided, no, I don't think I'm going to do boots. I think I'm going to do a restaurant. Who the hell goes from boots to owning a restaurant? But yet he did. He found his footing, and it took him a while, but he did it. So, I mean,
We're a bunch of late bloomers in this family.
and it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. This is your first
TV series.
TV series, and you're 80 in your 80s. There you go.
Yeah, I'll be 83 in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then you look at, this is what's so interesting about life. Here, all these 80-year-old women are doing a movie called 80 for Brady. And this is supposedly a true story, that these group of women get together and decide that they're going to try to bust in to see his last ball game, to still move around, to still do things, to still be creative. I think it's a wonderful thing. So, when you choose wisely, because you're going to be here a long time. And you want to be around people that you enjoy being around. And that was one of the things I decided. I thought, I'm not going to hang around with a bunch of people that I can't stand. Choose wisely, I guess is what I'm saying.
Thank you so much for listening. Please share, like, subscribe, follow, do all the things, review, hit those stars or whatever the situation is on your Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Anchor. The more people that hear about this podcast, the better. I really enjoy doing it. And if you stay a little bit longer, you can listen to the whole song Feeling Good, Pat Bowie with Charles McPherson. Have a great day. See you next time.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for me. Feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how dragonfly out in the sun. You know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun. You know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this old world is a bold world, a new world for me. Stars, when you